Welcome back to TXT Track Time. I'm your girl Tam.
And I'm your girl T. Every time I plan to drop a Elaine video, lauding her achievements, something else happens to interrupt its release. So what kind of cross is this? But them not gonna stop the Elaine video there, it's gonna get released.
It definitely will because nothing stops Jet playing Elaine. When we get back, we will take a look at the never ending drama surrounding Elaine's exit from the MVP camp.
So Stephen Francis was interviewed by Sportsmax after Elaine's team released their statement. And I just think the whole interview was shady from top to bottom. But the question I wanted them to ask, they still haven't. Who leaked the letter? This is the biggest issue right now because that would definitely lead to lack of trust.
Exactly. Any deception surrounding Elaine's exit from the club was started by MVP releasing confidential information without following due process.
You know what? Let's get back on track. I said in my previous video, which I will link in the cards, that I believe Steven was throwing shade then, and here he's doing the same thing. How many times have we asked why Shelly left MVP? Yet we got no response. And yet, here he is blatantly saying that it is because of Shelly's relationship with Elaine. So what? Elaine did I beat up Shelly around there or something? See what I mean? Saying something while saying nothing. Now, here's my issue with that. He didn't say the reason for the bad relationship, so now we're going to think that it's something Elaine did and not necessarily Shelly. Again, he is sowing seeds for us to have a bad impression of Elaine. Elaine seems to be an introverted person. So with her personality, she's the perfect person to target when being shady because they will never say anything about the situation. And as we all know, not responding in the eyes of some is silent consent.
Yes, because Stephen Francis mentioned that the relationship between Shellyanne and Elaine was the catalyst that caused Shellyanne's exit from the club in May 2020. Just hearing him say this has made me double down on my position that MVP is not being run professionally. Make no mistake, MVP knows how to produce winners, but it takes more than that to run a successful club. As everyone is aware, from as far back as 2016 after the Olympics and Elaine's rise to fame, Shellyanne complained about not getting enough attention and tried to quit the club, but was forced back based on her Nike contract. So obviously, this has been a 5 year long problem that management did not resolve or mitigate. One would have thought that with possible friction between Shellyanne and Elaine, the camp should have gotten their sports psychologist to sit with these ladies independently and collectively to ensure that both queens' mindsets were in a space where they could work together. Remember, guys, iron sharpens iron. So having them work harmoniously together would have benefited both athletes as well as the club significantly.
I agree. I mean, what was the need to mention the so called reason why Shelley left the club? Yet the woman in question that has just left, you can't speak on the reason why she's leaving. He might play head games, and I see right through that. All he did need to do was correct the reporter on the issue as it relates to the time frame when Shelley left.
Listen, MVP drops the ball on this one. Both Elaine and Shelley were major income earners for the club, and the club owed them the duty to provide a positive professional environment where each athlete felt that their needs were being catered to and that they were receiving sufficient attention. MVP has the winning formula figured out. They now need to figure out the interpersonal and mental aspects of things before I can ever back them again.
Exactly, because comments like athletes seem to can't remember basic maths, while he's also saying he doesn't know if the reason she left is because of finances. What done this year doesn't count, and athletes that have left always come back really rubbed me the wrong way.
I co-sign on that because nearly a week ago I suggested that young Brianna might benefit from working with Francis. Consider that point of view suspended until further notice. Because after hearing Francis in his interview comment on returning athletes Khalees Spencer and Christine Day as possibly missing the boat, I finally have the resounding revelation that as talented as Stephen Francis is, he's a huge part of the problem, which constantly drives elite athletes away from the MVP track club.
And you know what? Just listening to them near damning Elaine to failure as well, as if we didn't just watch Shelley run the best times of her life, not under Steven. This really makes you see who is with you and who isn't. And then, I'm hearing it being circulated how Elaine is quote unquote ungrateful. The last time I checked, Elaine was addressing her concerned fans and supporters. What need is there to mention MVP? As a matter of fact, you know what? Since you all like leaking letters, then leak all the correspondence between Elaine and the club so we can see for ourselves. Also, please show me the press releases done by all the high profile athletes when they left MVP addressing their fans and supporters. Alright, there's none. As a matter of fact, all athletes that have left MVP have dragged them through the mud, yet here we hear them calling Elaine ungrateful because her team releases a letter to her concerned fans reassuring them, which she didn't have to do. What more do you want from her? You know what? At this point, I just want Elaine to do what she does best. You have now gotten rid of the distractions, the noise in the background. It's time to let your feet do the talking and show them who is the Elaine Thompson-Herah.
Exactly. At this point, I have no time for naysayers. Now that Elaine has settled into her new training regimen, I reiterate that she will grow from strength to strength and smash that world record.
I have to say, though, that there's an interesting note. And that is the fact that Stephen is actually still considering whether or not to train this so called international Nike athlete that we may have already assumed in a prior video that is Sha'Carri. And I'm guessing at this point that he was actually waiting to see if Elaine would turn up before actually deciding.
I think so too, but the Elaine ship has sailed, so obviously he needs to hop on to plan B. Guys, let us know what you think of Stephen Francis's latest interview in the comments section below.
Yes, guys, tell us what you think about the interview in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, guys. Help us to grow. We love what we're seeing so far. We're happy. We're even more motivated to keep going. So continue to show us that love. Again, I'm T.
And I'm your girl Tam. We'll catch you in another one.